Wednesday the 10th of February. So I've booked to do Manchester Marathon. Hey guys, it's Lucy and I am back with a really exciting video. If you're new to my channel and this is the first video of mine that you are watching, hello, come on in, take a seat, get yourself comfy, make a drink, do what you need to do. You're all welcome here. I started a weight loss journey back in 2020. I've currently lost 70 pounds in total, which is 5 stone. I have a how I started running video up on my channel if you want to go and check that out. It may be worth having a look at that video as a little bit of context as to where I've started from. But basically, if not, I started from nothing. No running, I was morbidly obese, absolutely miserable, wasn't happy with life, didn't feel worthy of anything actually, which is quite sad. But as you can see from the title, this is my first marathon. Yeah, marathon. Me, this girl. I went from 0 to marathon, obese to runner, well, to marathoner in about 1.5 years. Yeah, this is the story of how my first ever marathon went. So Friday the 8th of October was the day that we were packing up and heading over to Manchester because the marathon that we signed up for was of course Manchester Marathon. Now we live in Essex. It was a bit of a drive. We have little old Storm, my husky, and we have our 3-year-old daughter. Obviously neither of them could come because we would both be running the marathon, so I mean, Chloe couldn't look after Storm and Storm couldn't look after Chloe, so they would they have to get looked after. God, parent issues. Anyway, we dropped them off at my mum's house and set them up for their little weekend there, and off we headed to Manchester. When I say we, it was my husband and I. Now that journey was, it felt like it just took forever, and the sat-nav was playing up. There was accidents, there was traffic. The sat-nav kept trying to divert us in a different route. Obviously we had no idea where we were going. Anyway, we finally got there. It actually took us, I believe it was 6.5 hours in total of sitting in the car, basically. So I think it was supposed to take 5, but ended up taking longer. But that's fine. We got there, we found the hotel, we set up base. We were really happy to have finally got there in the end. On that Friday when we got to the hotel, we didn't really end up doing very much. It got quite late, quite quick, because we were just so tired. So we ended up having dinner at the hotel and then we just went straight to bed pretty much. We did want to go and have a little wander and see what was around, but we thought no, it's too much. We just want to go to bed. So the next morning was Saturday and we got up nice and early. Right, so the goal for the Saturday was obviously Saturday was the day before the marathon. We knew that we needed to have carbs. My husband is a military PTI. He's completed an Ironman, he's run several ultra marathons, he's done loads of marathons. He's a pretty good runner, he knows exactly what he needs to fuel, so I just went off what he was doing. Yeah, I just kind of copied him, I guess. Just whatever he was doing on that day, I was doing. Welcome to Manchester. Carbs. We're gonna get pasta. And there's a sneaky little B&M as well, Matt. Yeah, we didn't actually end up going into B&M, which was a little bit disappointing. I think I was just so focused on eating that I just we just went straight back in the end. Right, back from Asda. Let's have a look and see what we've got. So, pasta, and bottles of water. Because for some reason the water in this hotel isn't very nice, so we've got some water. Some motivation to get me across the finish line for tomorrow. And some bananas. A little costume for my daughter because I could not resist. Once it was all said and done and we were back at the hotel, I had eaten all my carbs. I think I just had one more pot of pasta to go at that point. I don't know, I can't remember. And yeah, I was just feeling really strange. Now, the build up to this marathon has been a lot in the making, and it's taken not just a long time, but a lot of effort, a lot of early mornings, a lot of stress, self-doubt, preparation, training, hard training. One of the things that really pushed me was knowing that I had this marathon and knowing that I may not finish it. And you know, it's my furthest I'd ran is I did a 20 miler with my friend, and that did fill me with confidence, but I'd only done it once and it wasn't fast. It was really uncomfortable. Obviously it was still 20 miles, but regardless, I knew that the day before the marathon would probably be difficult for me, purely because I'll just be stressed and worried. But it turned out I wasn't. It was really, really odd, and all day I kept thinking, you know, any minute now I'm gonna freak out. My emotions just kept flipping from one extreme to another, really. And we are basically finished for our first day in Manchester. We found the start line, we had lots of lovely food. We worked out where we needed to go, which was the important thing. But now I'm preparing and I'm getting ready for tomorrow. I don't know how long we've got left till I set off. Don't want to think about it too much. I'm not worrying as much as I thought I was gonna be at this stage. I'm actually, how can I put it? 1 minute I'm not bothered at all, and I'm just like, yeah, let's just do this, not really worried. And then the next minute, I just don't want to do it. It's really weird. I didn't expect that. Happy I'm not as nervous as I thought I was gonna be, but a little bit worried that I don't really want to do it tomorrow, so. But let's have a look and see what I've packed. So this is my first flat lay, as they call it. I have got, let me put my tea down, my New Balance that I'm going to be running in. I got these new and I've been wearing them in, so hopefully they're going to do me well. Obviously I've got my watch. I'm going to be running in this Gymshark top. I've got some gels, I've got a duo bar. These are really easy for me to eat on the go, so I'm going to be taking one of these. Headphones, these are the leggings I'm going to wear. Here we go. And then it was race day. Yeah, I had a better night's sleep than I actually thought I was going to have, so, which is a good thing. I had a really good night's sleep. I did have to wake up earlier than I needed to, though. Good morning. It is marathon day. As you can see, I've literally just opened my eyes. Absolutely knackered. Matt has set the alarm earlier than I thought he was gonna, so that was a nice surprise. But we're gonna get ready and go and get some breakfast. See you in a minute. After we did that, we just got up and we headed over for some breakfast. We was in a room basically full of runners. Everybody there looked like they were running the marathon. There was basically like no porridge. There was, yeah, it was just carnage at that breakfast. I was just so excited after breakfast to get back and just get my running gear on. If I could have wore my running gear at breakfast, I would have done, but I didn't. As soon as I got back, I just put it straight on, pinned my number on, and just looked at myself in absolute disbelief that that was me. That was me. Breakfast is eaten. I'm just doing a little dress rehearsal for when we leave. We're going to be leaving soon. I just want to get there now. I want to get started. Matt is starting in a different wave to me. He's starting about an hour before me, so there's a lot of waiting around to do, but I'm going to be meeting my friend and her husband's going to be starting early, sort of the same time as Matt, so we can wait around together. We've got tickets for the tram all booked and all done. It's just waiting to go now. Just nervous. So obviously we were at the start area early, and I'm gonna be really honest, I was freaking out a little bit. Not for the race, just purely because I just had major imposter syndrome. Like I genuinely didn't think I should have been there. Now I'm really hoping that there's people can relate to this and I make you feel better about it, because I've not come across anyone who's said that they felt this way in this situation before. I was just stood there, and obviously I was in a different wave. Everybody around me was in like the fast wave. We were all like, oh my god, I was just about to say proper runners. Can I just add, there's no such thing as a proper runner. Like, if you run, you're a proper runner. Anyway, moving on. I was just surrounded by the fast runners. I literally just felt like I shouldn't have been there. It wasn't anywhere I ever pictured myself being at, if that just makes sense. So I actually ended up meeting my friend. Now, she's the reason I was there. She booked this marathon early in the year, which encouraged my husband to book the marathon, which then put a lot of pressure on me to book the marathon because I was going to be there. It would have been my friend, her husband, my husband, all running, and then me. Anyway, regardless, I signed up for this marathon because of her. She's amazing. We've been training together. She was in my wave. As soon as I found out she was in my wave, I was so happy. We were together and we realised it was time to go. We were absolutely, well, I mean, like, it was nerves, excitement. We were bouncing off each other. We had a bit of a walk from the athletes area that we were at to the start line, and yeah, that was intense. There was a lot of people. On the way to the start line!
Thanks very much. Welcome to Shane.
Wish we had something I'm so nervous.
As well. Thanks very much to the kids against Chad.
We actually had to like queue for a little while, and we ended up watching some of the runners. So the way we were walking was walking past like the 8 mile point of the run, and we had to stop and wait for a little while, but we actually got to cheer some runners on and see everybody, so that was really good. And but it did make me think, oh my goodness, like, that's gonna be me, that's gonna be me. So this next bit, just trying to not cry talking about this bit. Yeah, what I just want to talk about is like going to the start line of a marathon. Really try not to cry. Walking down that little bit of road towards that big start banner was monumental, and I think being at a start line of a marathon is underrated, if that makes sense. I think it means just as much being at the start than it does being at the finish. I genuinely believe that, yes, when you finish the marathon, I'll get to that, but that walk to the start line signified and was possible, just that little walk was possible because of all the training, all of my training and my early mornings and my stress and my belief and everything I went through allowed me to be able to walk to that start line. I really hope I'm making sense. The significance of me being able to start a marathon was just as big as being able to do it. I had the option, my body was able to have the choice of, am I going to run this today or am I not, as opposed to there's no way I'm going to run this today. I think that's significant, and I think if you have trained and you at your first marathon and you've got to that start line and you don't finish, mate, you got to that start line. Do you know what I mean? You got to that start line. That you are a winner. Like, it doesn't matter if you didn't win the race. You won the race of life. You beat everybody else who hasn't even tried, who hasn't even considered it. You've got there. And that's what came to light, and that's what happened to me as I was walking there. Oh my god, ready! We got a selfie. Oh my god, now, I tried my absolute hardest to get footage during the run, but I'll be honest, I just needed to get it done. I couldn't focus on filming it, and I'm gutted. I wish, like, maybe when I've got a bit more experience I'll be able to vlog a whole marathon. Regardless, I tried to capture the points in the run, but I only managed to get up to about halfway because, well, my phone started playing up roughly halfway through, which was an absolute nightmare. During the run, I was really trying to, like, tell myself that I feel fine, this is great, absolutely fine. I've only done 4 miles. Wow. Tried to play some mind games with myself to try and make it feel like I'm not actually doing a marathon. But I got about 12 miles in and that's when I started hurting. I also got 12 miles in and I got a text message come through on my phone from my husband. He'd finished the race at that point because he'd started like an hour or so, hour and a half before I did. And he did it in 3 hours and 6 minutes. How is that even possible? That was... Good job, Matt. I've ran half marathons plenty of times, and by 12 miles you normally get your mojo back at that point and you think, oh, I've not got that long left, blah blah blah, but I guess I didn't have that long left, so there was no mojo at that point. Anyway, I finally got to the halfway point and I ran the whole first half without stopping. My head, I felt like I needed to do that because I've done it before. I just put that little bit of pressure on every time I wanted to stop, to not, no, wait until half. The next half marathon I had to complete after the first it was just hard. It was difficult. The crowds were amazing. People were calling my name, they were cheering me on, I was loving life. So many different kinds of runners around me, and by the end it was sort of past the 20-mile point that I started thinking, okay, I'm in the unknown now, but I just had to absolutely not think about it. That last 10k was a bit insane, to be honest. It was really, really painful. But actually, before I got to the 20-mile point, I was really struggling sort of in that middle bit. So from about 14 miles to, well, from 13 miles to 16 miles, I think that was probably the hardest bit of the race, if I'm being honest. It was really, really difficult. But I just wanted to get to 16 miles because then, in my head, every mile I do, I'm counting down from 10 from then on. So instead of me thinking I've still got 10 miles left and I've already done 16, I was like, oh no, single digits is coming up now. Because once I hit single digits, start counting down from single digits, then yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy, yeah. I can see an end at that point, if that makes sense. But we ended up getting, well, I ended up pushing through, and by the end I had to stop and walk further towards the end. But when I was walking, it wasn't leisurely, it wasn't slow. The reason I had to do that was, in the end, walking actually became more painful than running was. So I ended up in this really, really horrible situation where walking was really painful and it hurt my hips and my toes. They were really, really hurting. But if I started running, I was knackered. Like, I had no energy in me at all. I was just so tired. So I just had to force myself to run for like a mile and a half. And then I'd start walking and I'd be in too much pain. I couldn't keep walking, but I didn't want to run. So I just had to jump back into running. Like, yeah, the crowds are amazing though. I think the crowds really do help. They really helped me to keep running. I didn't walk for very long or very far, but they were needed. Those short walks were definitely needed. Just, yeah, I probably would have just collapsed if I didn't have those little short walks. To the finish line. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. There was actually some like a setup, like there was like 1k left to go, and there was like these little setup, and it looked like the finish line was just over there, but it was like these rings that you had to run through to get to the finish line. I ran straight through. I saw the 26-mile big sign. I just thought, oh my god, I've done it. Obviously, I picked up the pace. In my head, like, I could see people. I was just going past. I was just completely full of emotion, and I was also really fed up at that point of running. At some point, I just refused the water, refused the gels. I was just like, no. I'm done. I just gotta keep going. I put my hands over my face because I was crying. I was emotional. Like, it was embarrassing. But it was also like the best thing I've ever done. I crossed that finish line. I had to look back and see, like, oh, I did it. Oh my goodness, absolutely insane. One of the best things I've ever done. I mean, I don't want to end the video without showing you my medal. I mean, come on, let's go see my medal. Are you ready? Ooh. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I just really hope that this video finds someone and inspires them just to give it a go. You are worth the chance. You are worth the effort. You are worth the time. Put it into yourself. Whatever you believe you can achieve. I'm such a preacher. Oh my goodness, I need to stop. Head over to my Instagram at Lucy Shaw Vlogs, and I will see you guys for another update very soon. Bye guys.